Hello, Steve. How are you, mate?
Mark, how are you?
Good. Welcome, everybody. I see we've got a bunch of people already joining us. Give us a shout out who you are, where you're from in the world. For those that are regular watchers of the show, as you can see, I'm in a different location.
Where are you?
I'm in my underground bunker, that I prepared for the nuclear holocaust, and now it's my virus bunker.
It's an above ground underground bunker, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an above ground underground.
One of those
bunker.
unusual underground bunkers that's above ground. Those are rare. Yeah, here comes somebody wanting some of that NDA stuff. We'll get to that soon enough.
Well, the thing is, the person asking for the NDA stuff is we're going to ask him to share some NDA stuff, because that's Nick Dolman, the MVP-preneur.
When I said earlier that we were going to be sharing NDA stuff, we meant we were going to get other MVPs to share it so that we could keep our hands clean.
Yeah.
But I do have an announcement, of course, because tomorrow I'm flying to Hawaii for my daughter's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And she has determined for her photos that the porn star mustache must go.
You're kidding me.
Yep. Can't have the porn star mustache.
Are you going to shave it off?
I mean, I could grow it back, right?
Yeah, true. Hey, you just flick something around on your microphone. There you go. You're different now.
I just switched off the headset, but yeah, I can grow it back. But yeah, the old 70s porn star's got to go.
It's got to go. Now,
so far I haven't found any women that liked it either. So,
so I just want to say that again.
It didn't take a lot of prompting for me to decide to shave it off. She wasn't the only one. She's not the only female that didn't like it.
Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to chuck in the live stream just quickly, and it's going to start playing. So I'm just going to pause it for a second. There we go. The pause is on. That gives me the link. And what I want to do there is, you see this link here. Did that come through on your side when I pasted it in?
Yes, I see a link.
You can see that link? Okay, that's good. I've got to make it so that you can chuck in links as well. This link here is to a podcast that was recorded. We call it a podcast. It was a video podcast, if you like. A bunch of us jumped on a call this morning. Nick Dolman, this is the link to, he's only just placed it in the last 2 minutes. This has gone live on air, where we had a chat, a bunch of us from around the world, which Nick put together.
So basically suggesting everyone log off of our show and go watch that one.
No, I'm saying it's on replay, right? It's a record session. Go take a watch of it, though, because it's something we're going to discuss, I suppose, a bit on air today. Is how do you work in a virtual world when that's not your normal, MO type thing? It's not what you normally do.
So everybody, in case you're not aware or can't tell already, Mark is talking to us through a hotspot connection on his phone, which is why his head is kind of jerking around on the video and freezing and doing some funky stuff there.
Oh, wow. I didn't know he was doing that.
You're bouncing around a little bit, but so far so good. I mean, if it doesn't get any worse than this, I think we're good, but maybe we shouldn't move too much.
Yeah, exactly. So
the bandwidth, all that head movement, probably.
Yeah.
So we got look at it. Some more people say hello. Let's see who else is out there. We got quite a few people watching. See who else.
Give us a shout out. Gus, great to have you on the show. Thanks for being here, mate.
Who?
Gus Gonzalez. Like he wouldn't post that he was here watching, but I'm pretty sure he's watching.
No, if he was watching, he would absolutely post that he was watching.
Nah, he's too chicken.
Oh, is this the chicken dare?
Yeah.
We dare you, Gus, to say anything.
Patty's online, and Patty been talking with a mate of Patty's, John, in the last 48 hours. And it looks like Patty and John might be going to kick off a thing to help people in this virtual arena keep learning, keep engaging, and which I think it's great. I think a lot of new stuff. Mandra, how are you? Welcome. Good to have you on the show. I think this virtual world that is now becoming our norm is going to unload a whole bunch of new opportunities for people.
It's going to be interesting times. I mean, this obviously this whole virus thing has sent a lot of people to working from home, people that never worked from home. It's got a lot of companies who never even considered letting their people work from home, suddenly telling them to go work from home. I have a feeling some of those companies are going to realize that, hey, you know what, this working from home is actually not a bad thing, and we could cut down on office space and save some money. And I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of kicks the whole working from home virtual thing in the ass even stronger than it's already been.
Yeah.
I think I was telling you before the call, I got one of my neighbors here, a gal who works from home, and she's got a counterpart in the business that she works very closely with that also works from home. They each just have a separate computer set up, and they've got a Zoom meeting going all day long, just sitting there while it's like they're sitting next to each other in an office.
Wow.
They're working along, doing their thing, turn their head, talk like they're just talking to the person right next to them. And yeah, I could see something. I could see. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time, so it feels very normal and natural to me. But I know some people. My ex struggled with the lack of the water cooler, I guess you'd call it. I don't know. What are some of the people online doing about? Is everybody that's online right now working from home? Or maybe I should say, who's not? If you're not working from home, let us know. And we'll feel sorry for you.
And also let us know, I'm keen to see who works from home normally. So for example, this transition's not a big change, but who is doing it kind of for the first time where you're working from home legitimately rather than, oh, I'm working from home today as you head off on your holiday 3/4 of the day early and things like that.
Yeah, no, working from home is you've got a desk set up, you've got everything's here. You're not like
you're not at the kitchen. You're not at the kitchen table or something like that.
I don't know. Daryl Labarce works from his utility room. He's got a washing machine in the background. So
yeah, I saw his photo. Right, his washing machine is behind him.
That's crazy. His office. I think George Dubinsky's office isn't much better.
No, George's mate. I've been to George's office. He's got a proper physical. Well, the office he works at, which is down the road from his house, is a full-on, it's a server room. He is in the server room pretty much. Has his desk in the corner of the server room.
Gus has got a nice setup, down in his basement in his house. He's got a nice setup there. I've got a whole room here dedicated to nothing but an office. This isn't to serve any other purpose other than Andrew slept on that sofa a couple of weeks ago for the Dynamics 365 Saturday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It doubles as there's a chair over there that turns into an extremely uncomfortable bed. That way people don't want to stay here, twice.
Yeah.
So I get the benefit of seeming generous by offering that first time, knowing they'll never want to do it again. They'll stay in a hotel next time.
Yeah.
So
I guess George does live in a server room. Work in a server room. I see there's some questions about that, but remember, George didn't come from a cloud world. He started in a very much Splar on-premise type world, or partner hosted, and so that was a while ago. And I see Todd; he's been doing it for 5 years. He's saying Patty's first time for any length of time, so getting into it.
Yeah.
What I would love to get some feedback on is give me 3 tips of what you think, as in this is not you what's your name? Steve, Mr. Mordue.
Wow.
From the audience. Honestly, I get in trouble with doing this with family members blanking on their name. Give me what's your kind of your highest recommendations. Just chuck them into the chat. What you recommend people do if they're for the first time going to not permanently work from home, but maybe just for the next 2 weeks, 4 weeks, that type of thing. So they're not necessarily going to go out and buy all their own monitors and redecorate a bedroom into an office or something. What are your recommendations?
Yeah. So anybody that's got anything to say that wants to answer Mark's question, feel free. So interesting because we're not only working virtually now. A lot of us are, but now we've got conferences all flipping to virtual. Yeah. I got we know right now, as we're doing this, the MVP Summit is still going on, and some of our audience is over there listening to that stuff. And that went from a in-person conference to a virtual conference. I think I told you before, I've got a big ISV that has their annual conference of, I don't know, a couple of hundred customers asked me to come do a keynote for them in Baltimore, which I was kind of looking forward to. And now that's been shifted to a virtual conference. So I'll be doing the keynote for their event from here. So, and then I got to thinking, well, that means I don't have to get on a plane. I don't have to travel. I don't have to do anything. Of course, they were going to put me up to 4 seasons. So I was kind of looking forward to that, but it was Baltimore. So.
Yeah.
So I was talking to somebody earlier today about this, and they said the people that are not going to like this virtual people working from home are those line managers who feel like they need to rule with an iron fist. That asshole manager that you've had that just screams and yells at people. That person, he's not going to like this because he can't scream and yell at anybody.
Yeah. I like that. Breathable underwear from Todd. So I'm no longer on my standing desk because it is back at my apartment 2 hours south of where I am. I've actually gone to my, I call it my farmer, my acre and a half, just had a barn built, power put on 2 weeks ago and water now, and hopefully internet next week, and I won't be on the mobile access. But Todd says breathable underwear, but I find sitting and standing is such an important part of my daily, and of course I do it all the time. So having a sitting standing desk where I spend 45 minutes standing, 45 minutes sitting, I found it does wonders for my lower back and also lets my bum breathe.
Yeah. See, this is, I'm all you guys can ever see of me on the show, of course, is from here up, but I'm always sitting in breathable underwear.
Yeah. You don't have any underwear on, right?
That's breathable underwear.
No pants.
No, that would be over the line.
Classic. So the other thing is that, and this is something I was discussing with my wife and came up with the idea, is that she's scheduled in with her team members morning tea and afternoon tea time each day. So, tea time being a British type thing, which is, around 10:30, you'd go and have a cup of tea or coffee or whatever, and you'd go to the water cooler, so to speak, you just talk smack, right? Or whatever's the topic of the day. And so she's doing that virtually. So she's just put in everybody's calendar, a virtual, cameras on if you want, audio, that type of thing. And you just go there, and it's not about discussing any work things. It's just talking shit for 15 minutes or whatever before you head back to, focused work. And I was like, that's such a good way, right? To make sure you're having that personal connection. People can see whether you're dying behind the eyes, that type of thing, maybe through the camera, and can give you some moral support and stuff, because this is definitely creating a heightened stress level in what I'm seeing already. I mean, I didn't think I'd start seeing people lose their jobs, and I'm seeing that. Not in our IT area, but I'm seeing it in other industry sectors. And so people are getting concerned. Where's their next paycheck coming from? Is there going to be another paycheck? Our government just did a $12 billion bailout strategy to basically, if anybody's going to lay off staff for the next, I think 7 weeks, they're saying we'll pay for your staff for the next 7 weeks. Every business, self-employed, doesn't matter. The government's going to pay to keep employers keeping staff on the books.
In that case, if I were you, I would fire myself immediately.
Crazy, eh?
Make a claim. Say my crazy bald-headed boss just fired my ass.
No, it's not. That's the thing. You can't fire them. As the companies that are being paid, they have to pay the staff. But the idea is that they don't let the staff member go because the company, you've basically got a staff member that the government's paying for the next 7 weeks, 7 or 8 weeks, whatever it is. And they can still do productive work, right? But the government's picking up the can.
It'll be interesting to see how this particular virus, more so than others, changes things permanently, going forward. And I know, there's a lot of temporary stuff going on, but some of the temporary stuff, like having people work from home, I think a lot of that's going to end up becoming permanent for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I don't know what other things, might change as a result. I know that I've heard about a few of large companies that have put a halt on hiring right now. And it's, it's just this uncertain thing. And the other thing is, here in the U.S., for example, kids are on spring break right now, which is a week. And I think they announced that most of the places announced that they're extending that another week. Well, that isn't going to solve anything. In 2 weeks' time, we're not going to be out of the woods. I mean, I think they're going to end up canceling the entire school year, and it's going to be all virtual.
Yeah.
Because even there's the president here did a press release the other day, I'm sure just repeating what he was told by CDC, that we may be looking at August here in the U.S. before we're out of it, because we're still early days.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of stuff. I mean, all the sports, so all the college basketball playoffs, they canceled the playoffs, just gave the trophy to the team that had the best record going in. Canceled the playoffs, just gave them the trophy.
Is that right?
There's some of the sports here that are going to be played with no fans. So they're still going to go to the arena, play the game. There just won't be any fans in there. A bunch of interesting, reactions to this whole thing,
So I tell you one bit of just personal bit of goodness that happened to me last night. It was my insurance company finally got back to me with their official findings on my claim for flying to Barcelona, from Barcelona to Lisbon in Portugal, and onto Seattle and home. And, the policy quite clearly says doesn't cover pandemic or virus outbreak. They've even got that one step below it. So I wasn't expecting anything, and they paid out 100%.
Really?
Just said, it'll be in your bank account within 5 business days. Thank you very much. All the best.
Excuse me. Got a little virus. Well, that is good news. I think there's going to be a little bit of a backlash now on companies that don't step up to the plate at this time,
Yeah.
And so, believe me, I'm sure your insurance company did not want to pay that claim.
No, but I think governments are helping insurance companies as well.
Yeah.
I know they're helping airlines and whatnot. So I think, because this is the thing, right? They don't want money not being out in the economy. That creates all kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I think governments do want to make sure that the economy stays liquid. So
I definitely had my fill of emails from everybody. Delta, hotels I haven't stayed at in 10 years. Everybody telling me about
that they're washing their hands now.
Yeah, they're washing their hands.
We're making sure staff wash their hands. You're covered. Please come and stay.
We're washing all of the dishware now.
Yeah. Like, weren't you doing that before? So listen here, another question just for those, on the stream here.
Before we lose them all.
Yeah. What are you seeing in your parts of the world? Are you, I see some people go from full on cavalier. This is just a media blowing things out of proportion. Do you see it serious? Do you, how long do you think, in what you've seen, data you've got, how long do you think this is going to be business as usual for us? Steve was saying August, the US government saying, I've seen stuff saying this is we're going to still be suffering from this by Christmas. And, I'm not worried about getting sick or anything like that, because I don't think I'm in a bracket that's going to be effective adversely. It's going to be a rough flu. I've kind of made sure I can do that outside of a hospital. So in other words, I don't need to go to a hospital if I got sick.
I mean, I'd rather not. I'd still rather not.
Totally. But I think it's kind of inevitable, the numbers that they're talking about in the spread. Although,
here in the U.S., our president's first reaction when this thing all popped up was everybody's blowing it all out of proportion. The flu is way more dangerous, and we don't go crazy with the flu. And he was kind of downplaying the whole thing. And then I think between just normal political pressure and then the realities of the situation, now he's kind of going the other way. And knowing him, because we're also at election time, right? he's probably going to go all the way the other way now. He's going to go. My concern is he just is going to go nuts, and he'll be the kind of guy that would like, we're just going to close all air traffic in the U.S. for the next month, or he'll do some extreme things like that so that he can, wave the flag and say, hey, I did what I needed to do to protect us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But
yeah. Prashant, what does it mean for you that you're in quarantine now? What does that mean? Are you in contact with your other family members? Are you totally isolated? How many days into your quarantine are you? Be keen to see the outcome. What do you mean? Like, I see Canada. Has Canada fully closed their borders? No air traffic apart from cargo coming in and out.
I can't keep up. I mean, every day you see something new on the news. I'm watching the news last night, and our local mayor announcing a new curfew on restaurants have to be closed by 9 o'clock in the town.
Wow. Because it's what, more contagious after 9?
I guess they're trying to push people to take out. They're trying to keep people from hanging out in bars and stuff like that. And, they're just using their kind of police powers, I guess, to go into kind of, overdrive on some of this stuff.
Gotcha. So just
frankly, those of us that work from home are already less exposed than people that work at an office right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because you're working home all day. But I mean, I don't cook, so I go out to dinner every night. I go to the same cafe most of the time, right up the street here. Yeah.
But so just I want to be clear on, so are any flights going into Canada only for Canadians and Americans in your case?
So he said he's self quarantine, but apparently there's a fine if he doesn't.
Wow, $13,000 fine if you don't self quarantine.
Wow. And that's because he came back home from US or something? Interesting.
Yeah. So you see, Australia on Sunday night put if you come in on a flight, doesn't matter who you are, what nationality, so no citizen or, dispensation, you have to quarantine for 14 days, self-quarantine. We just had two tourists chucked into jail last night in New Zealand. Because they decided to go, we're not going to self-quarantine. And so they said, well, you're deported. Like, you're not going to come and fuck with our country. You're out of here.
Trump won the presidency based on his whole nationalist agenda, right? It's fuck the world. We're going to worry about ourselves first for a change because we never have. And that's what got him elected. Yeah. And the whole rest of the world was all like, how could he do that? How could anybody be so isolationist? But now watch, every country could be doing the same thing. They're all going to be like, if you're not in our country, it's all going to be protect our own. It's all you can do. It's all you can do. It's interesting to see, it's kind of like that drowning man, right? I mean, the drowning man will yank the air mask off his child. It's just this thing that kicks into your brain, is survival mode that can kick in and make people do really irrational things. And we're starting to see a little bit of that. But
yeah. So on to another topic. What's happening in the Power Platform space for you? What are you seeing? I'm seeing no movement in the ISV side of things. That's kind of my pet peeve at the moment.
I talked to Googs last week, and he said they are head down on a bunch of stuff. Knows that there hasn't been a lot of stuff, bubbled up to the surface, but there will be. And I'm supposed to talk to him in a month or something when he thinks he's got a bunch of stuff to talk about. So according to him, there's shit happening. There's a lot of shit happening. It hasn't all bubbled up to the surface for you to see it yet. So, okay. So we'll see there. I haven't noticed anything different. I've been ranting and raving at the team that runs AppSource about the algorithm still being completely fucked. And my goal now is just to make such a big stink that they just throw me in the gallery and forget about it. Because fixing that algorithm apparently is a very low priority. It's being handled by a group out of Israel, who's working on that. And I don't know what the hell their priorities are, but AppSource is still, I mean, I think if you look at AppSource today and looked at it a year ago, you wouldn't notice any difference at all. Just really
Tell
has
me,
not.
I have a question that you might be able to answer. I've recently been asked around creating connectors. So, you know, Microsoft have this pool of 300 odd connectors.
Yep.
And I've been asked to help to consult to companies to get their software, their service or whatever. So they might have an API, REST, webhooks, that type of thing. And Microsoft want it inside the fold, you know? So they know they're not going to get this company to re-platform to Power Plat. Let's say they're on another service or, you know, might have built Azure or something. And the request made to me was, can you help us get these connectors certified by Microsoft and in app source? And I'm like, you can't have connectors in app source, can you?
So yeah, there's no connectors in app source, but they want to get listed on the connectors page where those other 300 some odd connectors are. That's where they want to be.
Yeah.
I would say,
so do you know anything about getting,
I don't know what the process is for that. I wouldn't think it'd be that difficult, but I think that if I were advising someone on thinking about building a connector, my advice would be, don't go half-ass. If you're going to build a connector, build a fucking connector. If you want to get success by having a connector in the marketplace, have more than one trigger and one fucking action. I mean, don't just waste the time of people, get them excited that, oh, wow, look, they have a connector, and then they go utilize it. It doesn't do anything.
But remember, carry on.
I was just saying, too many connectors out there that were hastily published to jump on the connector framework and be out there, that they just put a half-ass effort in, and they don't do enough to have any value. So if they're going to build a connector, you know, think of a bunch of triggers, think of a bunch of actions that are relevant, and launch it with some meat. Launch it with some meat, because you just throw it out with a couple of little pieces and it doesn't succeed. Well, no wonder it doesn't succeed. You know, you didn't try hard enough.
What's JK regarding doorknobs? I don't get that. But here's the thing, mate, as in, you know how RFPs work, right? RFPs are, does your product do X? Tick, yes. Does your product do Y? Tick, yes. Does your, you know, and you go through. It doesn't go, does it do X and is the most amazing thing, and it does, and it has 50, you know, triggers and 500 data fields. No, it just says, do you have it? And so even if you look at the suite of Microsoft products, there are many products in there.
Pick list.
Right. Does it have it? Yes, it does.
Is it a piece of shit? Yes, it is.
Yeah, but that is it a piece of shit question's not there. It's like, you know, do you have a forms tool? Yes, we do. Is it the best in the industry? Thank goodness you didn't ask that question. We just stuck with, yes, we have it, right? Yep. And then if we look at the 300 plus connectors, like what you're referring to, man, we've got 300 plus connectors. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, but 299 of them are fucking shit.
Yeah, waste of time.
You know, as in they tick the box though. Do you have SAP connector? Yes, I do. Could you use it in production? No, we've got one, right? And so this is the thing, is that you say, hey, you need to go all out and make it amazing. But there's probably some people that go, no, we just want it to tick a box. Therefore, you over-engineer it and make it amazing, but
I don't think it's that much more work.
Microsoft's agenda.
I don't think it's that much more work to make it amazing. I mean, and qualify amazing. I mean, a connector is never going to be amazing. I'm not ever going to use a connector and go, wow, this is amazing. I'm going to use a connector and say, this is useful.
Yeah.
It's useful. It just needs to be fucking useful. Too many of the connectors, again, I think they said, oh, we need a connector. Grab some rookie developer here who understands a little bit about our API and have him go bang out a connector. And by the way, he's got 2 hours to do it. So there was no effort put in at all, when, I don't know, with 8 hours, he probably could have actually made something useful. They just didn't. I don't even think it's a massive difference. I don't think it's an exponential difference in the development effort to make a useful connector versus a worthless one.
Nice. You know? I hear you. I hear you. That makes sense. But you're saying a lot of people are just half-ass their connector.
Yeah, they just,
it's more
minimal effort.
Tick box scenario, right?
Tick the box. But actually, this is a good example of ticking a box hurts you. You know, you went up there and you ticked a box. Hey, we got a connector. People are like, oh, okay, fine. In that case, I'll buy this product and I'll buy your product because you have a connector. They go get the connector and it's a piece of shit. And then, they're probably going to cancel your service because your connector is shit. They're not going to cancel your end or the Power Platform end. They're going to cancel one end or the other. You just froze again. Either that or you're really thinking about this question. Nope, I think he's froze. Well, I'm still here. So while Mark is frozen, I'll jump the topic over briefly to the MVP Summit, which is, of course, Microsoft's annual event where they have MVPs. Let's see if I'm still on. Oh, there, you're back. No audio from you.
There you go. My audio's on.
There we go.
We're back. We're back, which I think our connection's just picked up. So it seems that when somebody calls you and you're on a mobile connection, it can sometimes screw it up a little bit. But yeah, we're back online. We're back online.
So I was just pivoting the topic over to the MVP Summit, what it is, and that it's going on now again. And this is where Microsoft allegedly tells people about new features that are coming, tells MVPs about new features that are coming, all under NDA. We can't speak about any of it. But as I promised earlier on one of the other calls, I was going to reveal the biggest NDA announcement that they made today, or yesterday, actually. It was in one of the keynotes, a massive announcement. Basically, what they said is they're going to be bringing to the platform, and it's going to be fucking amazing. I mean, amazing. It's really a game changer, a complete game changer. So you didn't hear that from me, but it's a complete game changer, And whenever you see, when you see in the future them talking about, then you'll know it's definitely a game changer. It's just so
I love it. I love it.
My entire MVP award.
I can't believe you revealed that, mate, on air.
Well, sometimes you just gotta, sack up for the show, right? You gotta build those ratings, and that's how we're gonna do it is by talking. Oh, and then the other thing they talked about was that the thing that's gonna be awesome. Yeah.
You're too funny. Do you still have the stream running on your side? I can't see if we're still got a good connection there.
Yeah,
you
we're
do?
still up there.
Okay.
We're still up there.
You can see my thing that says, "Are you still here?"
I can see your thing that says, "Are you still here?" Yes, and we're
nobody's
still
answered.
here.
Okay.
Oh no!
Okay.
Oh, you were asking everyone else?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're all still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably just tuned us out and went back to watch the video you sent them a link to earlier. They're watching you and Nick talk.
Nick Dolman. Yeah.
Just clicked off. Yeah, if this thing's I'm looking at it live out there. So yep, there we go. They're still there.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Yep. Great. So yeah, any questions from the audience today? Just keen to answer if you've got anything that's kind of outstanding that you haven't got answered yet.
I will say that there were a couple of big announcements about some pretty big things that I think are going to be pretty exciting, but not at least from what I have seen, not a huge number of announcements. And I don't know if that means that the format just wasn't really very good for it. I know they were concerned about this virtual format about NDA. Maybe some people decided, you know what, let's just keep that quiet in this format, or if it's an indication that they really went hard on those things they did talk about and didn't do a lot of other things. I think one of the things that I'm sure was not NDA that they said a significant amount of their energy has been put into making everything they have work better.
Yeah.
So, making things work better obviously is critically important. That's everybody wants everything to work better all the time, but it doesn't manifest itself as a list of a whole bunch of cool new things. It's like this old cool thing now works better. So, I think there's been a lot of effort from what I was hearing from the teams on making everything work better.
Yeah.
Which is fair because, when you're blasting out features, I mean, like they were just shooting them out like fireworks, bang, 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 nonstop. Yeah. I mean, that stuff's going to be kind of half baked. And then you start, trying to pull it together a little bit. But in the meantime, you get excited about another wave of fireworks and you never really get back to that stuff. And it feels like they're feel like, we shot off enough fireworks. Let's go make these things work better.
Yeah, I think MBAS is going to be a critical time, as in that is something I've heard loud and clear over the last couple of days, that they're going to do now. It's a lot. They've cancelled the event, right? It's a virtual event only, the Microsoft Business Application Summit. I don't know. Is there still a fee to attend? Are they making a paid thing? I don't know. But Microsoft are going to do a lot of their show and tells at that event.
Yeah, I mean, that's customer facing. That'll be so a lot of the stuff they talk about now that's NDA will be announced publicly at MBAS. You know, by then they want to have it all buttoned up and be able to talk about that stuff in front of customers and get them excited. I don't think it'll be any secret for anybody hearing that, you know, a lot of the effort here has been to make things work better. Nothing, I don't think there's anything NDA about that. That's a desire that I think everybody would want. You know, there's customers out there that I've talked to and partners I've talked to that work with large customers that have said, you know what, Power Platform is an awesome idea that's not quite ready for enterprise, not reliable enough and not wired up enough to be real comfortable with enterprise. So I think that's a big message they need to be getting out to enterprise is, hey, you know, we hear you and we're making the shit work better. And it isn't like it doesn't work. It's not like it doesn't work. It's just it doesn't. There's some inconsistencies here, some broken wires, and it's not going to be hard if they focus to make all this shit work perfectly. You know, they just need to have put the focus there, and I think that their messaging to enterprise is going to be, and I think that's what we're going to hear at MBAS, is here's a couple of great big announcements about some cool stuff, but overall it's going to be, look how we've made this work better. Now look how this works better. Look how much easier it is to build a flow. Look, you know, look how these things, you know, function and work. Better will be the whole message.
Yeah.
They got enough.
I see on their website, they're saying refunds will be issued to all event registrants. It's going to be a virtual event. So it's the fact that they're refunding everybody tells me it's going to be I would assume a free event. So I'm expecting probably 20,000 people odd easily to get involved in it under the scenario, right? Because it'll mean so many people are going to experience
they had
MBAS that haven't been able to travel.
8 or 9 live last time. 1,000 registered, maybe 6 or 7,000 that showed up that were able to travel. They were able to take the time out of their schedule. They were able to come up with the travel expense and the fee and everything else. So you take all those handcuffs off an event, and I'd be curious to see how effective they are.
You know what? I think virtual is going to become really, really smart. I wouldn't be so surprised if we see new engineering done on Teams quickly to make it more to run large scale events. Because you know what? I think what we're going to see in the next 12 months is going to be the new norm of doing business. Because what they're going to realize is like, what the fuck are we spending all this money on running these in-person massive conferences at massive expense? Could we do something quite different and do it all virtual, meet our mass audience, which is what they're wanting to do, right? At the end of the day, they're wanting to educate the biggest portion of the market to buy more of their tech. If virtual really takes off, I think you're going to see virtual as the new norm, even in a post-COVID-19 world.
So I agree with you. The tools need to evolve to the next level. You know, I mean, right now they're basically for what we're doing, right? They're video chat tools. They're not virtual conferencing tools or video chat tools. And listening to some of the speakers, I mean, half the speakers couldn't even see the chat roll. No. I mean, how can you be presenting content to us and not able to see the chat roll? There's going to be someone else on another monitor looking at the chat. I mean, that's just not. That's not a virtual event.
No. But this is where I don't think the current way chat works even is designed for good presentation, right? If you go to, okay, let's take the live event scenario, right? You have a microphone in the middle of the aisle, and if you want to answer a question, go over there and answer. In chat, everyone's like either creating a snide remark about somebody else's comment or bantering or whatever. And the presenter can't read all that, right? And so what I think that you're going to do is that, yes, a proper live event is going to involve people emceeing it, coordinating it, making sure that there's somebody handing out the mic and saying, hey, you got a question, you need to put your hand up and we'll take your question. But it won't be like free for all, just like smash the presenter with a stream of consciousness of chat, because I just don't think it's manageable.
Well, and you see that even now where, you know, they'll like, okay, we're going to open up for questions, and suddenly 5 people come off mute at the same time talking over each other until the one who doesn't stop talking kind of wins, and he gets, and everybody else has to wait. And it does seem like, some sort of a system where if you want to ask a question, click up here and you go into a queue. And then, when somebody's managing that queue to say, okay, your question, so some order and some structure to it. Cause right now it definitely is too unstructured. So there's some opportunity. There's some opportunity here for, for these tools to improve. And, with all the events that are going virtual now, I mean, tons of events now going virtual. This is going to be, this is a huge opportunity, frankly, for Microsoft with Teams.
Yep. I saw something like viewership on YouTube is increased by 30% or watch time. And here's the, so I think that, if you as an individual want to create content, get it on YouTube and stuff, there's more people at the moment engaging via that. So I think, once again, video, voice, sound, sight, sound, and motion is going to become pretty much the standard. Hey, Mr. Bacon, I see join us here on the call. And Jason, how are you? I like the AI application. I think we will. I think this is going to spurn a whole bunch of new software, right?
You know how they do the virtual launches, the virtual launch events?
Where
they've got, I mean, and this is obviously the company that's going to be doing a virtual event, in this case, Microsoft. They've got a sound stage there. The only thing about those is they're all pre-recorded, right? I mean, James Phillips is standing up there, but it's pre-recorded.
Teleprompter in front.
Teleprompter pre-recorded, and there's somebody in the background answering chat questions live, but not him. He just did that. But if it wants to be real, then you take that same kind of a scenario, and it just becomes live. I mean, I'm not looking at somebody's webcam in their basement. Of course, some of that is the nature of, obviously, the virus has got them all working from home. But as a go forward motion, if you want to have virtual events, we shouldn't be looking at, employees in their basement struggling to figure out how to turn the damn software on.
No,
Microsoft's got all those sound stages, but they should be doing them live, not recorded. Never liked
but even equipping, because people are going to work from home more and more, right? The telcos are going to be loving this because the amount of use of their infrastructure now is going to get tested like never before. But, you take Zoom. I know that you and I jumped on with a Zoom rep a couple of months ago when we were looking at our options, and they've got these things that, clip on your chair and put a full inside your camera, screen around you, so that people, better than blur, right? Because we noticed the other day, as in some of the MVP ones, is that someone gets connected and they come back on, and guess what? Blur is not on. And then all of a sudden, all this shit in their room that they didn't want you to see, that picture of Jennifer Aniston on the wall, etc. They didn't want you to see that. It's now all not blurred and it's all visible to everybody. They need to, I think, go that next professional level layer. Because
cover your picture of Jennifer with that black curtain, so that worked.
That's right. And there's actually just a big void behind me, but
I think there definitely is going to be. So wait a minute, Seth's saying that he thinks those are live. Is he talking about the virtual launches? Because those are definitely recorded.
A virtual launch is 100% they're recorded.
Those are recorded. There's live there's live people in the chat monitoring the chat, but the events itself, or at least the keynote speakers and the important speakers. When we go to MBAS, we're going to have James Phillips standing up on stage talking to us. We would have Alyssa Taylor up on stage talking to us live. Certainly in the launch event, neither of those people are talking live. They're not taking that chance. Those things are recorded, edited, re-recorded. Those things are done to be perfect. And that's the thing that as a watcher of something online, if it's too perfect, it's not that good. I want some imperfection. I want to know it's real.
You can tell a lot of people are not used to having cameras on, and I think a lot of the software is set up where it makes, if you're presenting on screen, right, you become a little thumbnail down the bottom, out of sight type thing. I think they need a model where the presenter is much more in your face, and because you're not looking on a projection screen, which I think a lot of them are, this software is designed for in boardrooms and stuff like that. It's going to be projected, where a lot of people now are on their laptops, and the new MO is going to be on their laptops. And so I don't want to have my whole screen be the PowerPoint presentation and see you can't see the inflection points of the person's face when they're presenting. I want to see much more being able to control how much of my screen real estate gets taken for their presentation, their demo, that type of thing. I know you can click on it and it pops in and out one or the other, but I think there needs to be another more middle ground. If Teams is going to be that, I think there's definitely some more future scenarios that they need to be thinking about, or states that you can put your machine into or your Teams software into for presenting.
Well, and multi-monitor, capable too. I mean, for somebody who's not on a laptop, I got 3 monitors in front of me here. I'd like to have a presenter on one monitor. I'd like to be looking at the presentation on another monitor.
Exactly.
I'd like to be able to have that kind of flexibility. Right now I'm stretching this Zoom meeting across 2 monitors, and it scales up. I get to see both of us. Actually, it's really big. But
do you want me to stand up?
Yeah. Nobody. Yeah. Don't worry.
No. That's all right. That's all right. So I see you say shut up. Yeah.
I think there definitely is some opportunities for some improvement on the software, and I think this is going to be just the key that's going to cause it to happen. And I think Microsoft is uniquely positioned right now, not only because they have Teams, but they do massive events. So they would not only be a developer of the solution, but a massive user of the solution, unlike, Zoom, for example, which, I don't know what they do in the way of events, but not like Microsoft,
No.
So,
No.
For sales calls, you talk to their salespeople on it, but.
Yeah. Anything else on your radar?
I'll be in Hawaii, but I will be back Monday. And that's assuming I'm able to come back. I don't know, with my luck, I'll get over there and suddenly this country will lock down the state borders or something.
Can they do that in the US? Can they lock in each state? Because that's been touted in Australia that they might lock all the states down. Individual state governments will lock their borders.
I don't know. States do seem to have a lot of power. They don't often wield it, but we've got states that have decided to go against, national laws on things like, marijuana and stuff like that. Fuck the federal government. We're going to do our own thing. So, I don't know. Could a governor of a state declare martial law and close his borders? I don't know how he could, because there's no physical borders. It's be very difficult to close them. Yeah, could they certainly shut down all the airports in their state? Maybe. I don't know. I guess there's things people can do. I'm just hoping that don't do any of them until I get back on Monday.
Yeah.
I'll be here for next week's show. By next week, we're definitely going to have some stuff that we could talk about. Today, a lot of us, our attention's been watching the NDA stuff, which unfortunately we can't talk about. Other than that, I did want to mention that other new feature that's going to be coming out. Just awesome shit. And people are going to shit when you see that. So that's 3 things that I revealed here, NDA on this live stream. So, and you didn't take a chance on any of them. So you got nothing. You got nothing. Nothing NDA to reveal.
No, just back on Zoom.us, their stock price is just climbing. I was just checking out WebEx. If their stock price is going up, this share price is at $14 at the moment, but I can't see a trend line on it. Definitely these software. Hey,
broadband providers are going to blow up, right? You got lots of people that, since they weren't working from home, maybe just had basic internet service. Now you're working from home, and I know I went and got gigabit here. I don't even think I need gigabit, but I got it because it was available. I'm thinking I work from home. I want as much as I can get. Yeah. So I think we're going to see broadband is going to blow up. There'd be one to invest in.
Yeah. I think LinkedIn's going to blow up a lot more than what it is as well.
Webcams.
Webcam, all those type of stuff that's going to fuel this industry, headsets, all that kind of stuff. There's got to be a run on, what's the best headsets and whatnot to get.
Be like toilet paper.
Yeah.
Do you have that going on in New Zealand, or is that a U.S.?
Yeah. No, it's everywhere. So it's definitely big in Australia, definitely big in New Zealand.
So I'm going to tell you, I think the paper lobby started that one. The paper lobby did a social media campaign to get people scared that toilet paper was going to run out. Because what the fuck does that have to do with the virus?
Yeah.
Nothing at all. But they created a scare, and now because they created this fear, it's become a reality, right? There's a toilet paper shortage because the toilet paper people said, oh my God, there's going to be a shortage. And everybody ran out and bought all the toilet paper. I'm talking to some gal earlier today. She said she's got like 2 months worth of toilet paper in her closet, and she was at the store trying to get more. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, it's just paranoia, you know? Yeah, microphones.
Yeah, Greg, what Seth is saying is that people are going to want to be buying up microphones. I mean, this is a crazy thing. You see all that, and I just wonder if news medias have jumped on the toilet paper, but I think, feminine products, Panadol, thermometers, anything that's a cough suppressant, I think those are the type of things that people should be stockpiling at the moment.
You would definitely think that thermometers would be important. You would definitely think that hand sanitizer. Okay, I get hand sanitizer being a big thing for folks. I don't get the toilet paper at all. I don't see the connection. I think it was even Scott Hanselman had a tweet a while back. He says, "So who knew that the coronavirus, caused people to poop?"
Yeah.
So I don't know what the hell.
Yeah.
Oh,
so true.
I
think that
strange times, and I think it will be for a while. And I don't think that, we've been talking about this past couple episodes a little bit, and each week that goes by, things get a little deeper, a little dicier. We got all the sports teams all canceled last week, right? So now all public events, right? All these arenas that were doing live concert, all these things are being canceled, left, right, side. That's all just happening here in the last few weeks, that suddenly every single thing where there's going to be, the CDC put out some announcement about avoiding any event, or that people should not have events of more than 50 people. Just really trying to clamp down. And that knocks out a whole ton of stuff. And then think of the trickle down for all those industries, right?
Yeah. I think that user groups have got to get really smart to keep that local community going. They've got to, get their version of Teams or Zoom set up and start broadcasting from their bedrooms and stuff, and get it out there, right?
UG should be all over this.
Yeah. I put money on it that UG in Barcelona that was rescheduled is not going to be happening.
No, and it probably shouldn't, but they should be prepared to become a key source of virtual events. I mean,
they should be repivoting to become virtual massively.
Yeah,
massively.
You've been saying for the last year they need to reinvent. Well, here you go. Here's your fucking opportunity to reinvent. Like it or not, completely reinvent around this whole thing. They just got to do it and charge for it, because they're a for-profit business. I was watching one of the threads. The MVPs were complaining about something the other day about, would you present for free at a virtual UG event if they were charging an admission to people to watch it? Well, they're all, of course, on their high horse. Well, of course, I would not do that. I mean, they should do it for free. Well, they're not a fucking charity. And they there's
some serious infrastructure to stand up and if you're going to live stream at scale, right? You and I know just from our little small operations that we've had at conferences, the amount of coin that we've dropped to actually make that a reality. Someone's got to pick that up, right? If you're going to do that at scale.
For Microsoft to do a free event is one thing. It's driving license sales. Microsoft's making money on selling licenses as a result of a free event if they create customers. Somebody like UG. They don't sell any licenses. All they sell is admission to the event. So, I mean, I think if you're going to say, I'm not going to talk to at an event that charges for the event, well, you're pretty much just, putting that event people out of business. It's kind of like you're saying, you don't think UG should exist. Well, I don't know. I'm not buying off on all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, mate, if there's nothing else, I think we should sign off. We're almost coming up at the top of the hour. It'll be interesting to see where we are at next week and see if the dials moved much. It's very viral.
Questions? I see a couple of people have asked some questions.
Oh, yeah. So user group needs to be on their toes. From Greg. Greg, you should do it. Sorry, he's saying I should do a video on Zoom and state of art now. Yep, I definitely should do something like that. To get free Teams, you have to contact sales, correct? Or is there an easy way? So, yeah, I think it's an E1 plan. But if you just do a quick Google on that, Rachel, I'm pretty sure you will find that's well out in the public media, because Microsoft, of course, are getting that out there. So I'm pretty sure it's E1, and it gives you Teams for 6 months at no cost. Well, yeah. While the virus is on, either 3 or 6. But I thought
that'll be another interesting thing that we're going to see is people taking advantage. And and it's funny how you can cloak something in a altruistic.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's what's going on, but here Microsoft is now going to give people Teams free for 6 months. Free 6 months, or a whole bunch of people are going to go out there and get Teams, right? What's going to happen in 6 months?
Yeah.
Are they all going to cancel? Probably not. A lot of them will have used it, gotten familiar with it, got their friends.
But I definitely see that their intention is as an enabler. I do think they're not taking the low road here. I definitely think they're taking the high road and providing a set of tools. But it's like what Apple did for years in schools, right? They got Apple MacBooks, etc., into schools. Kids grow up, they know Mac, they buy Mac, right? It is that. So that is definitely that is a benefit. You give your software away from free, and then put all the premium content in the paid version. People get used to it and go, "Hey, I'll pay for the premium." It's a sales model, right?
Yep,
absolutely,
exactly. And I think we're going to see we're at a inflection point now where we're going to start seeing on Twitter, LinkedIn, we're going to start seeing people promoting things like, hey, now that we have this big virus, it's a perfect time for you to buy our stuff or whatever. You're going to see people, of course, they're going to get blasted on social, right?
Totally.
And just get hammered. But you watch.
Okay, so just hang on. Teams silent. Let me just let me see if I can just find that link. What is it? Microsoft Teams for free, and I'll put the link in. I've got to spell Microsoft right.
Go to the website and sign up.
Yep. Yeah, there it is. Include free version of Microsoft Teams. That's not it. Down to Microsoft Teams devices. Oh, weird. It's not as easy to find as I thought it would be. Let's put in some more information. I don't know. Yes.
Only Mark can put links in here for some reason or another. Can we open that up where the audience can put in links too?
No, it's a Google block it. I have to make everybody moderator. Can someone, do you have the link, Steve, that you can message me?
I don't. But I don't think I can link it either, because you didn't make me one yet either.
No, you here it is. I've found it. Okay. I'm putting it into the chat now. It's actually on Microsoft Docs, which is, I think that's it, right?
It'll get them there.
Yeah. I think that's got it. New in March 2020, a free 6-month Office 365 E1 trial, including Microsoft Teams, is now available. Microsoft is making a special E1 trial available in response to the increased need of employees to work from home. WFH in response to COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak. So there you go. There's all the links that you need.
E1 includes more than Teams. I mean, E1 that includes Exchange, right? That includes.
Does it have Exchange in it?
Doesn't
I don't know.
I think E1 has Exchange. I don't know if it has SharePoint. It might just be Exchange.
But, anyhow, it's all there. But we're at the top of the hour, so.
Right.
Go well with your wedding. Get rid of that porn star mustache off your face, so your daughter is happy with you in her photos. And we'll see you again next week.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Ciao. Okay, I just got to work